Good evening and welcome to It's Not Fake News 2020 recap with me, your host, Alexander Pimple. 2020 has been a year of epic proportions that no one could predict, even those people with perfect vision, whatever that is called. For the UK, it started with TV personality and Just for Men denier Philip Schofield using his morning show platform to come out. Little did he know it was actually a year to stay in. Even still, with this news now out in the open, he could move on with his life and, if he chose to, concentrate on being camp. Unrelatedly, China was in the news majorly this year. They had been working on a devastating project that would soon spread and devastate the world on an unfathomable scale. This epidemic would start off small and soon accelerate to nearly every country on the globe and fill the news for months. I am, of course, talking about TikTok. TikTok originally started as a social media video hub for teenage girls, pizza lovers and Prince Andrew. It soon became the destination for anyone who couldn't compete with the talent of today's reality TV stars to seek fame by copying everybody else's videos, videoing yourself reacting to the copies of those other videos, or just pulling faces at a camera for a minute. In March, the UK government was advised to head into lockdown following the outbreak of COVID-19. One of these top advisors, Dominic Cummings, also advised us to test our eyesight by driving our cars. This did actually turn out to work as an effective eyesight test, which unfortunately left Specsavers' share price falling and the first major company to suffer this year. Lockdown was long enough for people to get fit, fat and fit again, and we were told to alleviate any boredom by applauding ourselves every Thursday for taking the bins out. People getting fit was a problem for our government though. With Brexit still approaching, our biggest export has always been obese expats retiring to the European mainland, which we would undoubtedly need for any EU deal in the future. The government had a plan though, and decided to allow the population to eat half price wherever they went for food. This proved successful, but for a final push, Boris Johnson insisted that during December, the people of the UK must eat a bowl of fries and a Scotch egg for every drink they had. There are also rumours they are planning on putting chips in the vaccine. Stay back and cover your face are words women have used against me for years, but this year was a norm all over. Dating sites like Tinder and Bumble were on the up, but hookups were still forbidden during lockdown. However, laws were relaxed for single people on the dating scene when sexual encounters were eventually allowed, as long as faces were still kept 2 feet apart. The government struggled to find a suitable slogan for this scheme. Netflix was found to be using an algorithm to create shows based on the most popular Google searches. The movie Contagion appeared on their service as people looked up the pandemic on the internet. A documentary entitled "What Does the Word Furlough Mean?" came next. Finally ending the year with a movie called The Prom, which is about high school lesbians. In other news, Britons waged war against racist statues. In the summer, it was believed that these large grey humanoid rocks were being controlled by Ben Stiller and coming alive at night time, where they would parade around town and trip up unsuspecting minorities, claiming it was okay since they had black friends. The only way to defeat these monstrosities was to throw them in water that had been blessed by the Pope or Josh Groban. Identity politics became compulsory in England. If you were to lean slightly to the left or right side, then you were required to believe in all policies in accordance to your sway or face backlash online. The government have announced that they will take this further by writing in law that any child born after 2022 will be forced into matching their views in accordance to whether they are left or right-handed. Ambidextrous children who are unsure of their views will take it in turns to lead the Labour Party. J.K. Rowling also caused a Twitter stir this year. Miss Rowling, who is famous for her books depicting a child who was born believing he is one thing but found out in adolescence that he is actually something else, and his journey to becoming what he was born to be over 7 books, hit out at transgenders for believing they are something she believes they are not. If you are unfamiliar with J.K. Rowling, you may also know her from a pseudonym, Robert Galbraith, as she sometimes writes things under a man's name. Now to science. Science, which was invented in 1994 after the court case between the Church of the Latter-day Saints and Boys to Men. it had not progressed far enough to correlate a link between viruses, Microsoft, and the colour known as 5G. It was close to its way out, and that could have happened if it wasn't for the people who came together to save it. The lack of jobs available was no problem for the people on Facebook, who used the time to become politicians and engage in mass debates alone on their computer during lockdown. If we had learned anything over the last few elections and referendums, was that the population knew exactly what the people wanted and what the country needed. These amazing individuals also took the time to learn how to be doctors using YouTube, and later in the year studied extensively as scientists, saving the very thing that could save all of us through to 2021. Well, thank you for joining me for this 2020 roundup. Well done for making it to the end of both the year and the video. We will be back next year for a roundup of the New World Order, what it's like to live in a Tier 42 area, and tips on how to use the new time travel enabled PlayStation 7. I've been Alexander Pimple. Don't just say it, be it.